Welcome to the Frank Ammon Show. The Frank Ammon Show. Your number one source for entrepreneurs to learn, earn, and create wealth.
A mindset. Comfort is the enemy of success. It is the killer of dreams. You are enough. It's got to include the result you want. The best parts of your life is what on the other side of hard times. When they ask you what do you do for a living, you're going to say, I do whatever it takes. You got to keep going. You got to keep fighting. I'm going to step in my moment. We started from the very beginning saying, hey, let's do this. It's going to serve other people, but serve us.
And now, here's your host, Frank Ammons.
What's going on, guys? What's up, Daniel? How you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good. So we're coming on here kind of spontaneously, and we got a new friend and guest with us. Are you ready to go, Zook? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. I don't know if you can or not. Let's see if we can get it on. So we got the one and only Zook. Can you hear me, man? He might be still working on that. We'll let him keep working on that. Anyway, so I don't know if you guys saw the topic that we put in the in this description, but why does what happens when a failure happens 99% of the time, right? What causes that, right? Did I say that right? Can't remember.
I think so.
So anyways, for those of you who might be watching here, did Zook get on here now? I'm going to try him again.
Yeah, let's try him.
You ready, man? Can't hear it. Can't hear it still. All right. So he'll work that out. Anyways, guys, what's your thoughts on that? As far as what causes failure 99% of the time? What is your thoughts? Daniel, what's your initial thoughts?
I think what causes failure most of the time, or 99% of the time, is lack of effort.
Yes, for sure. Post in the comments in the chats, guys, if you guys have an opinion. What do you think? What's your opinion of what causes failure 99% of the time? We want to know what your thoughts are, especially when it comes to business and entrepreneurship, is what we talk about most here. What is your opinion of what causes failure 99% of the time? So we want to talk about that and unpack that a little bit, because I think all of us, need to be mindful of what we could do better and what we could avoid. So, right. So Zook, can you hear us now? No. So he's working out that technical stuff. So let's unpack that a little bit more if we can. For those of you who are watching, go ahead and chime in, put in the comments if you can. Or if you're on the replay, go ahead and comment as well, because these videos will be replayed so you guys can look at the comments and see what people are saying. So let's talk about business failures. Daniel, what is your opinion about that? What do you think causes most business failures? Because I think the stats are most businesses fail like 70% of the time after the first, I believe it's 2 years. 70% of businesses that are started fail. So what do you think that is the cause of?
I think a lot of business failures happen because people they either overextend themselves in the beginning, and they don't have the clientele to back that up, or they don't do, again, that they're not doing the work necessary to succeed, which is marketing. It's market research. It's making sure that your business has a customer base. You can have a great idea, but if you don't have a customer base to sell it to, then it's pointless, and you're never going to make money. So
yeah, it's kind of like the chicken or the egg kind of deal, right? What started first, right? Well, in business, a lot of people want to go create their LLC, want to go incorporate, want to go get their name done, want to go get business cards, get a logo and all that. And all that should be done probably pretty fairly in the beginning, but you really still don't have a business until you have a customer that pays you, right?
That's right.
So, I mean, all that's great and wonderful. And maybe that's what you feel you need to have the confidence in order to get a customer. And I can relate to that. You want to have you want to have that impression that you have everything together, or at least to the extent of doing business. But at the end of the day, what matters, or when do you have a business, is when you have a customer who's paying you, right? So a lot of people get all the other stuff first, and focus too much on that before they get even a customer, right?
That's right. It is important to have that idea, to have your branding and things that you're going to be using. You want to know that stuff. You want to make sure that that is available. The name you want to use, you want to make sure nobody else has it. But until you have, a profitable thing where you can have a customer that's going to pay you, you could do that 10 different times and fail 10 different times if you don't have an idea that's actually sellable.
Right. You were going to continue? You were going to continue, or?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
I said,
No
like I was going to keep going, and then I
It
lost
sounded
that
like
thought,
you
so.
were going to go a little bit more. All right. So yeah, those are all great points, because having marketing in place, having things in place. I mean, really, do you have an operation? What's the right term? What is your operational agreement, right? Like what's the plan? What's the strategy behind your business, right?
Right.
So let's talk about this real quick. We'll try Zook again and see if you can get on here. Let's see. Are you there yet? Hey. Well, you're live, man. So can we hear you? You got to speak, man, so people can understand that you're there.
Yeah.
He's kind of chopping up a little bit.
So I do exist, if you guys can hear me.
Yes, we can. But it seems like your video is a little lagging there.
I was having the same. I don't know if I should switch.
Can't hear you. Yeah, so keep working on that, and hopefully we can get you on here soon. But we're trying. But keeping with the theme, what do you guys think in the comments? Tell us in the comments what you think causes 99% of failures, especially when it comes to business. I mean, a lot of failures out there when it comes to business, right? I mean, business, I think the stats are like 70% of businesses started, fell, or closed, or quit, or whatever after the first or second year. I guess we can look that up as we're kind of waiting around. But so let's talk about this, Daniel. What do you think? What percentage of mindset do you believe? And I know you're going to just give an opinion. It's not necessarily based on data, but in your opinion, what do you think? How much of mindset has to do with the business failure?
Yeah, I mean, your mindset is a lot of everything. If you aren't focused on, the right things, if you're not thinking the right thing to keep yourself motivated, then you're gonna doom yourself to failure, really. A lot of us, we can be, naysayers of our own abilities. We play down our own abilities and things, and when that happens, that puts you in a box of failure. You want to definitely have that right mindset, so that when you are doing something, that you have the ability to succeed in it.
Yes, absolutely. It says, according to Google, 90% of businesses failed or at the failure rate in 2019. Hopefully that's got better. I don't know what about 2019 caused a lot of businesses to fail, but they did. You would think that would be 2020 since everything got shut down. But it looks like the data, according to Google, is 90% of businesses failed in 2019. That's interesting. But mindset is important, right? I mean, I know most people don't think mindset is important, or sexy, I should say, because it's not really something that, I mean, I don't know. It's a lot of people know they need it and they think they have it, and maybe that's the reason why they don't really put a lot of emphasis on it. And plus, I think there's a lot of people who talk about mindset, so it kind of gets watered down as a need or a demand or an important element. But it's got to be huge when it comes to whether you're going to succeed or fail, because right? When you hit a challenge in your business, you're going to have a certain mindset to overcome that challenge, number one, and continue even if you didn't overcome it very well, right? So, for example, and I meant to put this in a group today, but I didn't. But I'm going to go do that now. But I'll ask this out loud, even here on the live. What do you guys? What would you guys say? And I'm kind of asking for a friend, if you will. Wink, wink. What would you guys say when a client of yours or a prospect of yours reaches out to you for a solution and you can't necessarily deliver on that solution, and you probably should be able to, especially if it's in your scope of business, right? Or your scope of expertise, right? So let's throw that scenario out there. And Daniel, I want to hear your opinion about that. How would you handle that? How would you address that? So if someone reaches out to you, or a prospect, or even one of your current clients or students, or however you guys call your customers, and they say, hey, I need A, B, or C, or I need A from you, or can you deliver on this? And it's within reason. It should be within your scope of what you understand and what you do and what expertise you bring to the table. And let's just say you couldn't, for whatever reason. How do you handle that? How would you handle that? Daniel, how would you handle that?
Well, I mean, I think there's a couple of ways to handle it. The first way is you figure out why you're unable to provide that service now, and you solve that problem so that you can provide that service to them. If that means that you need a little bit of education on something, if it means that you need to research the problem so you can understand why it's occurring and be able to solve it that way. You don't want to lose your client because you're unable to provide the services that they need. So you're going to do whatever you can do to be able to provide that service. A lot of people have this idea of fake it till you make it. Well, that's great in certain circumstances, but you can only fake it if you know you actually can achieve what you're doing, right?
Right.
The faking, that's about your persona. So you don't want to do that when you have a paying client. You don't want to say you're going to provide it and then fail in the actual providing. So it's about you learning and gaining the necessary things so that you can provide the services that they require. And if it's so far beyond what you're able to do, I believe that's when you should partner with someone, and say, get this client the help they do need from someone that's able to provide it. Because if you provide that person for them, they're less likely to, leave your services entirely. They may just add a service from an additional provider rather than leaving entirely.
Yeah. I wonder if this is Zook that's commenting, since we have a Facebook comment that says, face it till you make it. So make sure, guys, that you are clicking on the StreamYard link so that you can tell them who you are. For some reason, they've changed their way of doing things. You have to click on the link and let them know you're a real person before they show your face. So
Yeah, I think that's a actual Facebook thing that's making them have to be able to get that approval.
Yeah. Okay. So it's Facebook, I guess. But either way, do that so we know who you are, unless you want to stay anonymous, of course. I guarantee you that's probably Zook. What would your guess be?
Probably him, but
Yeah.
I suppose it could be anyone, right? It doesn't have a name. It just says Facebook
That's
user.
right.
So,
But
you know,
that's another way to look at it. Face it till you make it.
yeah, that doesn't sound quite as negative as fake it till you make it. It's saying
Right.
that you're just going to keep facing that problem until you're able to achieve whatever you were
Right.
having a problem with.
Yeah, and I think fake it till you make it. No, I don't. Now the same person said it's on your end. I can check. Let me check the settings, but I'm pretty sure you have to do that regardless. Let's see. As far as I don't see any settings that allow me to release that, but there's I guess there's a little link, right, Daniel, that they got to click on.
Yeah, if you're looking at the Facebook stream in Facebook, you can look at the description above the video, and there's a link in there that says StreamYard, Facebook, something, and when you click that, it will take you to a quick little page where you just have to approve that StreamYard is able to read your name off of Facebook and then provide it on the streams. Your name will still show up in the Facebook comments when you comment, but in the StreamYard app that we're using for bundling this broadcast and sending it over to YouTube, it will not show up here for us to be able to see it. So if you were to look at the YouTube video or the Facebook video and you commented, it'll show your name in the comments, but we won't know who you are because StreamYard isn't able to pull that data from Facebook unless you give them approval to. It's for your security so that somebody's not
There you go.
taking your information.
So
Thanks, Mo.
it was Mo. Thanks, Mo, man. You got a great name, by the way. I love Mo's. Not as much as Chipotle, but I do love Mo's. What about
Come on,
you?
Frank. I'm sure he gets that all the time. You got to come up with a better joke.
It wasn't a joke. I was just thinking Mo and then Mo's. Maybe I'm hungry. I don't know. But all right. So thanks, Mo, for commenting and watching along. What's your opinion of what we're talking about? What do you think the 99% of failure is caused by? So Mo, if you want to give your feedback on that, it'd be great. So we just want to talk about what do we believe 99% of failure, especially in business and entrepreneurship, is caused by. We were just talking about fake it till you make it. I wanted to mention that I think fake it till you make it is more of a attitude you should have about not letting what you don't know stop you from moving forward, right?
Right.
Not literally not knowing what you need to know to be successful and effective, right? So I think it's more of an attitude about, go after what you need to know and don't let that prevent you or stop you. And so that's the way to go. Let's see. Zook, did he make it in?
I heard a beep.
Zook, are you in now?
Yes.
Technology. All right. Now, Zook, move your camera over.
There you go.
There you go. We can see you now.
Sweet.
Sorry, guys. I had to cough. Daniel, take over from here for a second.
Yeah. So, we've been talking about this fake it till you make it and how that is something that's going to allow you to have this mindset of not letting your insecurities stop you from doing the things you need to do. It's not necessarily about faking your knowledge. It's about really faking out yourself so that when you're nervous or you are worried about something, you can kind of just say, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do it because I need to do it and because I want to do it, regardless of if I'm afraid of it or not. What's your opinion, Zook?
Oh, yeah. I don't know where this old saying came from, but actions speak louder than words. So I think ignorance is something that you need to work on daily because there's something that if we don't challenge ourselves on, we're always going to be ignorant on it. And yeah, sometimes you might have to, I don't want to say fake it till you make it, but I believe for you to be able to make it, you have to understand what it is. So you'll be able to do that. So it's really good to have a pretty strong foundation of action and taking and accepting little challenges, not big challenges, but if you're just starting out, little challenges in the beginning.
Yeah, I love that you brought up the actions speak louder than words. That's something I'm always talking to my son about is that the things that you do have consequences, whether it's a good thing or it's a bad thing. There are always consequences in life. And a lot of times in the business realm, we forget that the things that we do have a consequence, a real visible consequence on our business's performance, on our customer retention, on all the metrics that we track. The things that we do on a daily basis affect those things. So it's really important that we remember that every action that we take as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, is going to directly affect the outcome of how well our business is going to perform. We can tend to be easily distracted by the things in the world, the things in our lives that are constantly in front of us. There you go, the phone. I mean, how easy is it to get stuck in Facebook or Instagram and just scroll for hours and not even realize that you've been scrolling for so long? It's super easy. We all do it. We're all guilty of that. I don't know one person that doesn't get stuck on social media at one point or another during the day or during the week. Some people it's worse than others, but those distractions in our lives, even things that aren't social media, our phones, is obviously mostly for social media, but you may be texting people constantly. You could be watching TV, Netflix, All these things get in the way of us being able to do what we need to do to succeed. And it's like the world is set up for you to fail. It's set up for you to fail. Everything out there is set up for you to not succeed. To succeed, you have to look past and walk away from all those things that are all around you that are put there to keep you from succeeding, and step over them, and then do the things that you need to do, even though they're not necessarily maybe the most fun thing for you to be doing at that time, or the most interesting thing. It may not seem like that, but if you want to succeed, then you have to be able to put in that work, put in that effort to ignore the things that are distracting you. What are some of the distractions you have in your life, so that really have prevented you from achieving the things in the past that you wanted to do?
Oh goodness, shiny object syndrome. I'm wanting to make a lot of money. I know a lot of people struggle with this, but my foundation was not strong at all. Like I didn't have mentorship or somebody to hold me accountable.
Mhm.
I didn't have a group I was a part of, and and being part of a community or a culture of other like-minded people who are also wanting to better, well, you and themselves, can really help push, drive, and challenge you to do more for yourself. And and my buddy Frank, like he's very direct, and to the point, which a lot of people need that. I mean, it was
Mhm.
Oscar Wilde who said, "Real friends will stab you in the front." So it's good to be able to know what's working, what's not, and what you need to focus on, so you're not wasting time. Because I literally wasted, goodness, probably like 12 years, literally chasing my tail of all these ways, thinking I could make money.
Mhm.
I learned a lot, but I also wasted a lot.
Well, I think that, that's common, doing things going in circles. But something you said at the end there is really important. You didn't just do those things, you learned from them. So, though you did have time of failure and time of not achieving your goal, you didn't let that stop you. You kept going. You learned from the things that weren't working, and you adapted, you changed, you did things that actually started to work. I
Yeah,
see we have Frank back.
Yeah, I got back here. All right, so we got another comment here. Want to show? Let's see. Mo's back commenting. Lack of work ethic for sure. Not knowing your purpose. That's powerful. Not seeing a system in place. Another powerful thing. Being led by a bad leader. Woo! Come on. He's preaching now. I think we need to take up an offering for this brother. Not having a set schedule to go off of. Man, we need to bring him on, man. Like he sounds like a good guest. Lack of organization. I can't think of more, but these are my key points to why people fail in business. Those are probably the major ones, right? So Mo, give it up for Mo. Come on. Woo! I don't know if y'all can hear me clapping, and if it is too loud, sorry. But those are good. So, yep, for sure. Oh, we should do the snapping. Is that how we're doing it? I don't know. I don't know how that goes. So
some old school.
So yeah, Mo, man, those are awesome, man. Those are right on point. I don't think any of those, going back to those, I see lack of work ethic, not knowing your purpose, not seeing a system in place, being led by a bad leader, and not having a set schedule to go off of. I mean, whew, that's a whole entire book right there, right? So what do you guys think about what Mo said?
I mean, I think he hit lots of nails on the head right there. He was able to tell us things that we've all experienced, and they're all really key points on things that can prevent you from succeeding.
Yes, for sure. Zook?
Oh yeah, I think a lot of people, they kind of, I don't know how to say it, but they set themselves up for failure going into any situation thinking they're already going to fail. And I don't know if I know that you guys might know him, but Alex Hermanozzi, or from Mosey Nation. Anyway, he's a successful entrepreneur, and he was giving an example of online courses and how you can benefit from them. And he saw somebody completely saying online courses are trash, they're no good, move on, looking at something else. And he said, look, just because one course didn't work for you doesn't mean another one won't. It can cover almost the same exact thing, but whoever your mentor or instructor is in that course, like they can say things that you haven't never heard before, even though it's covering the same subject that somebody else taught. And it's just like building a bridge brick by brick. Like you will get there, but sometimes you have to kind of backtrack and get different bricks to form the same bridge which you're going to cross.
Yeah, for sure. And those are good things. And Alec Minozy, or however you pronounce his last name, I watch him pretty closely. Great stuff. He's a very intellectual guy that talks business, which is awesome. So now the quote that inspired me, I love quotes to kind of set a mindset, that inspired me for this topic was 99% of failures come from people who have a habit of making excuses.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah. So that's where I got the inspiration for this topic. And I want to talk about excuses because I feel like all of us deal with excuses no matter what level of success you've had or are having. You're still probably dealing with some level of excuses, right? Especially if you're trying to go to the next level, whatever that level is for you, whether it's, you're beginning in the business and you're going trying to scale to the next part, or you're further up the ladder as far as success is concerned. And now you're trying to take it to the next level. You're probably dealing with some excuses, some things that are blocking you, right? And we're going to call those blocks for today excuses, right? What excuses, would you guys, maybe point out as general excuses people deal with, or maybe you want to even share maybe some excuses that you guys use that prevent you from going to the next level?
Oh, I got you. I'm going to focus on so many things at once, and I'm going to excel in all of those, or I'm going to wait and do it tomorrow. I mean, those are like the two biggest things for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Procrastination is a big stumbling block for me as well. I think for most people, you always, that goes back to the things that are distracting you. You'd rather do those things than to do the work that you need to do. Also, the other thing you said, that definitely is an effect on me as well.
Yeah. How about I know a lot of people talk about the need for confidence, and confidence is definitely needed. And people who have lack of confidence, obviously that can be a issue. But how about the need for confidence being an excuse?
Yeah, I think confidence is one of the things that you don't get it just by wanting it. You get it by practicing and just being, outgoing, doing that, taking that step of, stepping out in faith of you're just going to do this and it's just going to have to work. That's where your confidence comes from. Now, there are some people that are just born with more charisma, but I don't think that someone that is, introverted is incapable of being confident. So, using that as an excuse that you just don't like talking to people or something like that, then, you're just basically, shooting yourself in the foot, really. You're preventing yourself from finding success because you don't want to, step out, even if it makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I
confidence
think,
is a tool.
yeah,
For sure. And you can misuse tools. You can use them as excuses too, and say, "Hey, I don't have enough," or "It's not the best," or right. And I've found myself doing that lately. It's like I need to be more clear. I need to be more confident. And those are actually just excuses, even though, yeah, confidence is a part of taking a step. But like Daniel just said, what's faith then if you need so much confidence, right? Faith, I think, is I think faith is definitely, you know the absence of confidence and just taking courage and just doing it, right? So what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, it's belief in the unseen. But when you believe in it enough, you see the effects of it and what it can do, and that can guide, lead, and direct you. Make it pretty much be your North Star, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I definitely would agree. I was just checking out Mo's Facebook profile over here since he's been, really in tune with everything we've been talking about today. And, I just wanted to take a second and read his intro, his little intro paragraph here, or sentence that he's got, a couple sentences, because
Before you do that, Mo, reach out to me, and if you have an opportunity, let's have you on the show right here in live. I don't know if you're still watching or not, but jump on or inbox us, message me if you can, and I'll send you a link, and you can jump on if you have the opportunity. If not, Daniel, we'll try to reach out to him and have him on later. But go ahead and share what you.
yeah, so it really fits with what we've been talking about today. But he has written, if you don't know your purpose, work towards it every day until you do. And if you do know, keep living it. It's very succinct, but I feel like it totally fits with, what we are, talking about, finding your success, not allowing failure to creep in and prevent you from succeeding.
Yes. Yes. That's good stuff, man. I mean, well, we kind of had the idea that he had some good principles to work off of with the comment he left there. So yeah, Mo, if you can reach out to us or if connect with us, we'd love to have you on and share about what you do, your story, and maybe some more of those principles, man. You had some fire that you put in the comments there, right? So that's good. Now let's move on to the next thing. If Mo reach out, we'll try to jump on, get him on here. So talking about excuses, right? Would you say it's fair? Would you guys say it's fair to say that some people live in the land of excuses? I don't mean to be funny, but would you say there's a lot of people that live there? I mean, what's
very common.
What's I'm not going to try to like point any fingers, right? But let's just use ourselves as an example, right? Have you ever been stuck in the blame game? Right? Have you ever?
I think it's easy. It's easy to find yourself blaming someone else because even subconsciously you start to blame other people for things that you haven't done because you don't want to admit to yourself or to others that things you're doing or not doing are what is actually causing the problem. I've worked in the retail world for a lot, many years, as a manager, as a regular salesperson, and that was a consistent issue that we would see from everyone, from the smallest person on the newest hire to the store general manager that's been there the whole time. There's always that, well, I'm going to blame somebody else because this didn't get done. Whether, you could just step in and do something and get it done, but instead you'd rather just leave something because, it's not my responsibility. Or I wasn't supposed to do that, so I'm not going to do it. And, as an entrepreneur, you can't let those things happen.
Yeah.
You are the one that's responsible for everything. So, especially at the beginning. So if it's not getting done, there is no one to blame. You can want to blame people. You can try to blame other people, but it all comes back to you and not doing what's necessary.
Yeah. Now, hey guys, post in the comments if you ever been stuck. Obviously we're doing kind of a confessions Tuesday here, I guess. But post in the comments if you ever been stuck in the blame game, like you finally came out and you realized, man, I had a lot of excuses of blame to go around. Zook, what about you, man?
Oh yeah, man, this is huge. There too many people live in their current circumstances, whatever that might be. Like it could be consequences based on a horrible decision you made, but that isn't who you are. I mean, we all go through something. You either got to learn, you've either got to learn from it and move on, or just live in that the rest of your life. And it's ridiculous. Unfortunately, a lot of people nowadays do tend to live in that reality of always being the victim and pointing the finger without doing anything about it. And unfortunately, like they don't really realize it until they're probably 60, 70, 80. And but everybody has so much to give, and you just literally have to walk into every situation being open-minded. And our brains are powerful. So I can keep talking, especially when it comes to the mind.
Yeah.
But our it's crazy.
Yeah. So guys, we're talking about why 99% of failures happen, especially in business. And then we kind of shifted into excuses, and we kind of shifted into blame, which is another level of excuses, right? Because people love to stay in that blame game, right? And we're kind of confessing even our own parts of our life where we're stuck in the blame game. If you've been stuck in the blame game and what that effect had, post it in the comments or just say, yeah, I can relate. When we come back from this promo, I want to bring up a topic that is very relatable to this. Guys, I want you guys to get ready to answer this. What do you do when the blame really is legit? Like it was really someone else's fault, like legitimately. What do you do when you're faced with something that the evidence, if you will, is definitely somebody else, right? What do you do with that, right? So before we get into that, Let me play this little bumper and then we'll get back here.
If you're ready to take your business to the next level, increase your revenue, and get more clients, go to frankammons.com and book a game-changing call with Frank himself today. What are you waiting for? Go to frankammons.com. The next level awaits you.
Yeah, guys. So go to the website there. Let's book a call. Let's get on the phone and talk about your business and give you some solutions. Whether you're talking to myself, Zook, or even Daniel, we can give you some ideas, some strategies. Here's the thing. It's hard to find solutions when you can't even see the things that are holding you back, right? So you got to have some an extra set of eyes sometimes, right? And it's not that we all know, more than people. Most of the time we don't know more than people. Sometimes we're just able to see things that people are not really wanting to pay attention to. So back to the question I posed before we played the plug. What is the deal when you don't want to blame, you don't want to have excuses, but it's legitimately someone or something else's fault, if you will? How do you face that? How do you overcome that, guys? I want to hear from you, Daniel and Zook. And in the comments, have you ever faced something? I'm sure you have. Anyone that's watching faced something that was definitely the other person's, the other parties, the other entities' fault, responsibility. They failed you, and it impacted you. How do you approach that? How do you overcome that, guys? So whoever wants to step in and reply to that first, go for it.
Well, I definitely have experienced that. I think everyone has had something that was legitimately someone else's fault of, dropping the ball or failing or whatever. But placing blame or getting angry that they failed doesn't really help anything. The only thing that actually helps is coming to the table with a solution. You've got to figure out the solution. Yes, something failed. Yes, the ball was dropped. Yes, something didn't get accomplished on time, maybe, but that doesn't mean it's a total failure. It just means that there was a point of failure. So by going past that point of failure, finding a solution that solves the problem or the failure, and then acting on that solution, that is how you continue to move forward. You can get angry at that person. You can have words with them. You could say mean things. You can report them to the management, whatever the case is. If you're not an entrepreneur, you're not the leader. If you have a boss that's above the two of you or a boss above them, you can report them. But when it all boils down to it, you're just digging the hole deeper. You're making it worse when you do those things. Really, you need to come up with the solution. Active solution solving is going to help you actually get where you want to go without, delaying the process even more. And I suppose there are certain things that people could do wrong that really would need to be reported if they've broken the law or something. But, if it's just a work thing and you have an issue with somebody because they dropped the ball, they didn't succeed in what they were supposed to do, or they didn't get it done on time, just find the solution, move past it, and keep on going.
It's good. I am taking a picture because I just told someone we're kind of talking about them without naming them. So anyway, Zook, what you got? What you got, man?
Well, pretty much just to expand upon, everything you were saying, Daniel, is it's kind of what I was going to say, but you did a great job. So just blame shifting doesn't really help us in the big scheme of things, especially if you want to do more, live more, and be more with your life. You can't live in that blame shift, blaming somebody else for your situation or something you did, even if you didn't do it. You've got to figure out how to get through it. And to me, where some people find dead ends, because some people don't feel like they're cornered in a certain area or back into a certain space mentally, because they're trying to find everything. Sorry, I can't think of the word. They're trying to prove that they didn't do what they were accused of. And they're trying to beat that mind of did I actually do this? And it's so weird. That's where the mind goes, because the mind will start to believe lies sometimes. But if you're in the right, and you did your best to, the best you can do is just prove it. But some people don't even care how much you prove you didn't do it. Just look past that and just be creative and still don't let that weigh you down or hold you back.
Yeah.
Hopefully that all is aligned.
I'm going to bring up something sensational on purpose
Yes.
because this whole conversation is something me and my wife were just talking about, but also we were talking about a couple of different scenarios. We were talking about one of the people she mentors. I was talking about one of the clients that I was actually coaching today, and this is kind of the result of that. And again, we're not here to mention any names, but my point to you is, what about if someone, and I'm going to say this, what if, all right, let me say this first before I say that, but let me say this. How important is it to find your point of responsibility regardless of who really legitimately is to blame for what results you have? What would you guys say?
Could you ask that question one more time?
How important, or what let's just say, like, what would you find it important to find your point of responsibility in the situation, even if you weren't the one that caused the outcome that you now are with, right? So, for example, you have a perfect opportunity to blame them because legitimately they're the reason, they're the cause, right? But yet, let's just be honest, the situation caused a certain result to you. It's not your fault, so to speak, but yet it still affected you. With that said, how important is it still to find your responsibility in that situation?
And I think that pairs back to kind of what I was saying before with, you have to find a solution. So your responsibility in the situation is to find the solution. You've got to solve the problem. The problem's not going away. It doesn't matter if it was their fault, your fault, both your faults, the mayor's fault, whoever's fault. That's not important. The important part is finding the solution, solving the problem, and moving forward. You can
Yeah.
sit there and dwell on that problem all day, 5 days, 100 days. It's not going anywhere until you find the solution and you just walk out the solution that you come up with.
Yeah. All right. Now I'm going to challenge you guys because both of you are great coaches and advisors to people, but I want you to feel this. I want you to feel the importance of impact and transformation when you're faced with something that is really tough to deal with, but you still have to deal with it, right? What taking that same scenario, I think you should find responsibility in everything that's ever happened in your life. Everything. Now, what I mean by that is when you do, let me just talk about the power of finding responsibility, right? The power behind finding responsibility of yourself is a true sign of growth because you own everything you ever did, and you are taking more control of your life. You're keeping yourself out of victim mentality, and you're saying, hey, I know I want to achieve A, B, or C, and the only way to do that is to take ownership of my life and the things that I want to accomplish, including some of the mistakes I've made, including some of the things that have happened to me that I couldn't even control. Now, I know that there's going to be a limit to responsibility because there is going to be those that are at fault, that have done things to you. If you're listening or watching this, I'm not here to blame that, here to say that. What I am trying to say is when you really find your responsibility in everything that you've ever went through, whether good, bad, or in between. Of course, most of it's going to be the bad that you're looking at that you need to take responsibility. It's pretty easy to take responsibility when you're successful. You're able to own things in such a way that it brings you to growth. It brings you to understanding how to take what would affect you normally and allow it to positively affect you. Right? So, and I'm just going to say this, guys, and I am going to be a little controversial, but I'm going to say this because these are real life scenarios. What happens when a woman says, "Hey, I've been raped"? You can't blame them for the rape, right? But you still have to, if you're going to give them real life solutions, you still have to say, hey, you need to take responsibility for certain things that led up to a lifestyle that may have put you in harm's way, right? And there's some people, and again, I'm not here to say that it's never the person's fault. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if you've been counseled and you've been mentored and you're not listening and you're not doing certain things that you've been told, yet you're still being harmed, whether it's rape or whether it's emotional or whether it's, your business is not succeeding, and whether it's you're not really taking, when you don't take responsibility of certain things, especially the main ingredients like your decisions, even if it's not your fault, you're never going to grow. And if you don't grow, we all know what happens there, right? So I know this is a very tough subject, because we don't want to ever make anyone feel like it's their fault for being harmed, because it's not. But we do want to help people grow, right? Is this our goal? We want people to be transformed, right? And I think whether it's pain, hurt, emotion, whether it's now, let me give you another example, guys. This is a little less serious, if you will, right? Let's go back to a business scenario. By the way, that's a real scenario, guys. And I want to let you two know, and anyone else who's watching this, if you're a coach or mentor, if you really want to have transformation, you're going to be faced with these type of scenarios where you have to help someone, but yet you can't, you have to be careful, right? So you have to be careful with how you help them. But you don't want to just say, pat them on the back and say, hey, keep doing what you're doing. It's not, it's not your fault. Well, there are certain things that are not your fault, but there is certain things that you need to take responsibility. And I think that's what I'm trying to say. Am I saying that real bad? Is that coming across real bad? Or I'm trying to establish a very sensitive situation without saying it's ever anyone's fault, especially when it comes to the example I used.
Well, I think I understand what you're saying, is that regardless of what happens to you, your decisions are your responsibility. So decisions that you make are going to have outcomes, kind of like what Zook said earlier. Actions have consequences, or that what you've decided to do, whether it was conscious or unconscious, those decisions will lead to an outcome, or put you into a position to be having a certain outcome. You didn't decide for that to happen. You didn't make that thing happen. Somebody may have done something to you, but the decisions you made along the way have outcome.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to be so crazy, but we've had some real interesting conversations lately. But when you're trying to help people, when you, like, all three of us here on this show today are here to help people. Transformation is our goal, and there is certain scenarios. Let me give you guys another example, right? So I'm coaching someone today and I'm telling them, look, this is what you got to do. They're trying to make a change in their business, right? They're trying to shift their business over to something different. They actually are trying to shift from what kind of client they were focused on. They were in a very niche business, and now they want to change to a different business because the niche business wore them out. Like, literally the type of customer that they were dealing with. And let me just tell you this. Daniel can relate. Maybe Zook can relate, but Daniel can relate. This person was serving pastors. Okay. And this person offered marketing solutions for churches and pastors. I mean, can you imagine the type of mindset battle that person had to go through? So I can relate, right? I can relate, because
definitely.
Pastors, when it comes to marketing, man, they're like, the Lord is going to bring everybody, right? And the Lord will bring everybody. As soon as you tell everybody the Lord's there, So where'd Daniel go? He left?
I lost my camera somewhere.
No problem. So I didn't know if that was on purpose or if there's something going on here. But anyway, so this person has got a business that was focused on helping pastors market their churches, right? And that clientele, as you probably can imagine, was probably a fight in order to get them to think the right way, in order to utilize technology and marketing solutions in order to help their church grow. Right? Probably can all imagine pastors probably are not, oh yeah, let's do it all. They're probably going to be more of a, they're thinking a little different, right? So this person has been worn out because of this, because they've been focusing on this clientele, and so they wanted to make a change. And the change was they want to change to a different type of business, and they want to be more broad because they want to serve a bigger group of people, right? And Zook, you probably can imagine when they said they want to be more broad, what I said. Go ahead, take a stab at it, I should say.
Oh yeah, it's not very good when you go broad, because then you're trying to please everybody, not just a single person, and you're literally like amongst a massive school of fish in the ocean is much smaller for you. I'll just say that.
Yeah. It's the big fish in a small pond mentality that helps you get lifted off the ground. You build a base, right? So if you're watching this and you're in business, you can't serve everyone effectively, right? Because especially in the beginning, Daniel says he thinks his camera broke. Let me put him off there for just a second, maybe when he's ready to come back on. But I know all of us, and Zook, you probably we can even talk about your business, because you have a very niche business, right? Your niche business is serving. Well, go ahead and share who your clientele base is.
Well, basically, I help dads help them with productivity and knock out their goals, and then also, really, really help break past their mental barriers, because that's kind of like the very foundation. Because I don't know.
Isn't it dads with more like dads with younger kids, small children, young children?
Yeah, because having a kid like really changed my perspective, kind of on life, and he became my purpose and not really my why.
Right. So you have a specific audience that you're after. You're after dads that have young children that are now. Is it just people who only dads that stay at home, or is it dads in general with young children?
In general.
Okay. So by doing that, now, did you start off with that? Because you have a desire to transform people and help people, right? So did you start off with that? Oh, I'm going to help dads with young children. Or did it take a little time for you to realize you need to niche down?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. What was that last part? I was talking and being a jerk.
No, that's fine. When you first started and you decided you wanted to start this business, did you automatically start off with dads with young children, or did it take a little bit to realize you need to niche down?
Oh, no. Yeah, it took months of trial and error. There's
Daniel. Let's see if we can get him back here. You back, man?
Hey, I'm back. I had to restart my computer.
Okay, good. That was fast.
So we're talking about the example of I was coaching somebody earlier today, and their deal was they're switching over to a different niche. Actually, they're switching over to a different type of clientele, and they wanted to be more broad because they've been focused so much on this certain clientele, which we mentioned was pastors in this example, and they've been worn out because this niche was, their mindset was probably not so feasible to the solution they were offering, which was like, social media marketing and things like that, right? So because of that situation, they've decided to shift gears and want to go more broad. And so I was just mentioning Zook. Zook has got a business coaching dads with young children, and he's specific on who he's serving. And then I asked him, did you arrive at that in the beginning, or did it take some time? What was that process like, Zook, to realize you needed a niche down, and why did you come to that conclusion?
Whenever I first started, whenever I first started coaching, I knew so much and I wanted to help so many people. But let's face it, just with my humor and just my personality, I just like talking to the bros. And also like I don't know, it just I, I like making a lot of kid jokes now that I have one because now I finally understand kid jokes so
Yeah.
much better. And yeah, sleep deprivation is real.
So the process, what made you want to make that decision, or that you thought, hey, I got to do this, I got to niche down? What was behind that?
Well, really, I would just be getting a lot of people interested in talking to me, but I didn't really have a whole lot in common with them. And it really wasn't until I'm like, man, what am I doing wrong? I talked to Frank, and then I talked to a few others that kind of helped me figure out. Yeah, I guess just the whole process behind it, and it really helped structure my mind more so toward my ideal client.
Yeah. So basically, niching down, especially in the beginning, is so important. And I know we've been talking about a different subject to lead this, but I'm getting somewhere here. Niching down is important, especially in the beginning, to build your base, right? To have a core group of customers or clients that really see the benefit of your service, so that you can then expand and broaden out more. A lot of people see businesses or entrepreneurs that are successful, or businesses that are successful, and they see the end product or the developed product, but they don't understand the process of how they got there. And so people want to mimic the result, but they don't necessarily want to mimic the process. And you got to mimic the process in order to even get close to that result, right? And so they think, well, I'm going to serve all the people I can serve, and that's everybody, right? And what happens is you don't realize that you cannot serve effectively everyone, right? You can't. Like, there is some organizations with great teams that can't even effectively reach and impact a lot of people, right? You have to be real mindful of that. And so not only does it help build your base, but it allows you to be more effective with the clients you can and will serve. And that way you can really help them go to that next level and achieve using the solution that you offer, to the point where they see, hey, this person, this business, this solution, this service is the reason why I went to the next level. And that's how they begin to, evangelize about you and about your service. And that's what builds your base to be more of a community, and then your community into more of a crowd. And now you're serving a lot more people and a lot more opportunities. Now you have more and more things happening for you in your business because you decided to really get specific, right? So, anyways, I'm coaching this person. I'm saying, hey, look, you're wanting to switch over to a broader audience. And I understand that because you got kind of beat up with the current audience that you're in, and you don't want to niche down, but it's highly recommended that you niche down. And he's like, no, I don't want to niche down. I've already niched down, and this is what happened. And so that brings me to this. Legitimately, he probably is right in what happened. But did he still take responsibility? Like, let's just assume that his reason of wanting to switch is absolutely 100% accurate. Like, his niche that he had originally, is a tough crowd, so to speak, right? They're hard to deal with, right? And what he's offering. And so I'm not taking that away. I actually know that personally. So I can not only relate, but I can say, hey, that's probably true. But even if that was the case, isn't there still responsibility that he has to take in that? And if there is, why? What do you guys say about that?
I mean, you should know your niche before you delve straight into it. So, regardless if it was this ministry, dealing with pastors, or if it was dealing with CEOs, you have to know who you're going to be dealing with and be prepared for the solutions and the answers that they need to use your product. You can have the best product, but if you don't have the answers to explain it to them in the way that makes sense to them, then of course your niche is going to be challenging, and it's going to have issues for you because you don't have the right FAQ, I guess, in place for that clientele base. If you're dealing with pastors, then you're going to need things that are, going to help answer questions for pastors specifically. So it doesn't really matter how challenging your niche is, but you have to be prepared for the niche that you're in.
Yeah. So, and that's perfect, Daniel. But my question was, is there, even if it's legitimately a good excuse or a good, speaking of excuses, even if it's legitimate, what he's saying, the reason why he wants to shift or change, is there still responsibility that he needs to take?
Yeah, I would say there is responsibility that he needs to take because that's, the niche that he chose. It's the niche that he may have not been as prepared for as he could have been.
Come on. That's right, man. That's right. Right. Because here's what let's talk about this, and maybe Zook's got something on this. What's the danger if he doesn't take, let's say, let's just hypothetically say he shifts over to a broader audience, and let's say he feels better about himself, and now he's serving more people. Let's just say he's successful. What's the danger in not taking responsibility then? Is there a danger still, or is there not?
I still think in the big scheme of things, unless we own up to our failures, that there will always be a consequence, whether we realize it now or later. That's why it's good to go through it now. But was it Denzel Washington? I don't like using. I don't think this will make as much sense, but failing forward. Like, you're not a failure unless you give up, but you've got to learn through your experiences by kind of saying, "Yeah, I screwed up, and I've got to learn from this." So, I mean, failure can be a really great teacher.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. So
I mean, I would add something to that, that
go ahead.
if you had problems with a certain niche and now you have a broader audience, that problem isn't gone away. You haven't dealt with it. So you're going to have that same issue is going to come up with your larger audience that you have with your smaller audience. So instead of necessarily broadening your audience, you need to work out your issue, solve that problem. And if you still want to change audiences, that's fine. But you need to deal with the problem that you had before that so that when you do switch audiences, you don't encounter the same problem with a different group of people.
That's so true. Oh, man, that's so true. So let me read a little bit about some of the ideas I had, right? So what I said originally, and a lot of this, by the way, guys, was coaching through text. So it wasn't even over the phone or whatnot. By the way, you guys those who coach, don't be afraid to use messaging, WhatsApp, text message to coach people. Matter of fact, our service, these guys that are with me, we offer access to us at all times through that method or those methods or those channels. Because at the end of the day, yes, we can't always be available to book a call, but there is some quick solutions we can give people within a reasonable time, just on the fly, right? So this was one of those scenarios. So if you guys are coaches out there, make sure you're opening up these channels to your clients so that they can feel like they have you, more so 24/7, not like emergency purposes, but more like, hey, I have a question and this is a simple thing. I don't need to book a whole call for this, and nor do you want them to. So be open to that, guys. Make sure you're opening up those channels because it's not going to be a big deal to answer a question that's quick and easy to get a solution to. This ended up being probably, it should have been a whole call, book to call, because it went on for a while. But this is what I said. I probably shouldn't say this to you, but you would be, who would I be if I didn't try to help you, being a fellow entrepreneur, by saying this. But I believe, you need the real talk. So my suggestion is really to think about what happened and why. And when you find your responsibility and what happened, that's when you can really find the solution to do things better and be different. Because it's not always who we've decided to work with, but maybe it was the picker themselves that had a problem from the possibility of being underprepared, or maybe even picking what seemed to be the easiest, most different niche at the time versus the best one. Not sure, honestly, if that's what happened. But I just want to give some suggestion because I've been where you're at right now, and your decision not to niche down comes from that experience with a niche, comes from that experience. So the question I gave that person was it you or was it them? That's the real question.
Hmm.
And even if you can point out to their issues, which I'm sure they had, that's not what's important. What's important is your role and responsibility, because you already have decided to not niche down. And because of that, there's not a real marketer on the planet that wouldn't tell you not to niche down. Why? Because it's the only way to build a solid core business, then expand, and so on. And you're about to take a leap into the possible bad moveville. That's what I said. And try to go against all market logic because of what happened. So all I want to do is help you consider it in its core possible and at its core, and possibly avoid further delay of your true path. Because after all, that's all we all desire, is to know we're on the right true path. Right. So that's what I said. You guys agree with that? Obviously, that's a lot of what Daniel already mentioned, which I thought was awesome, because he mentioned being prepared. I mentioned being prepared, right? And I don't know that to be true in that case, but it's got to be somewhat true, because he dealt with things that frustrated him and overwhelmed him. And now he's wanting to jump ship, right? And like you said, Daniel, even if he does jump ship, that's fine. He can do that. It's his choice. It's his life. It's his business. But I think what's important is what he takes with him in that experience is still going to be a relevant piece of, information or experience that will determine some of the future outcomes. And we have to be careful with that, guys. And so going back to what we originally said, what is the cause of 99% of failure, especially in business? I think it's making excuses. I think it's not taking responsibility, right? Even when it's not our fault, even when the situation was not caused by us or anything we did, we still have a place to take responsibility. And if we don't, we're going to find ourselves making more or future decisions based on the negative impact of the thing that caused us the issue. And that is why we have to take responsibility, not because we are at fault necessarily. Or even if we are at fault, we need to take responsibility, even more importantly, because it's going to determine how we make future decisions. So if this person decides, I'm going to be more specific, or I'm going to be more broad, and begins to be broad, and we know that from experience, broad is kind of like, shooting yourself in the foot, and it's an uphill battle and maybe he's able to overcome it. Maybe he's one in a million that can overcome the broad business approach he's going to possibly take. But who would I be not to say, hey, you probably shouldn't do that. You probably should just find a niche. And the real reason why you don't want to find a niche is because the other niche, you weren't really prepared for. So what I'm really trying to say is, like Daniel said, you should be better prepared.
Can I jump in here and say
Yeah, go ahead.
something about being prepared? No matter how well you prepare, you can't pre-plan for everything. So part of preparation is learning on the fly. So when something new comes up that is causing a stumble or causing an issue, that's your chance. It's a blessing in disguise, really, because it's allowing you to know something that you didn't know already, and to be able to learn from it to prepare yourself better for the future.
Yeah.
So no matter how well you're prepared, there will always be something that will come up that is something you couldn't have foreseen, that you could not have prepared for.
Yeah.
But a way to prevent failure is to learn from that new experience and take that into account in your future experiences.
Yeah. Learn how to learn, man.
Right.
And especially if you're in the coaching business, or in this case, you're kind of a coach, even though you're not called a coach. I mean, he's a marketer. He's coaching people how to market their business. And even if it's a do it for you service, it's still somewhat coaching. Right. And obviously when he went to go work with these guys or whoever, they gave him a lot of, headaches, if you will. And he wasn't prepared for that, at least to the extent where now he doesn't want to do that no more. Right. So, and this is what I said, and I hate to be on this topic so much because he probably might even be watching. So I did text him and say, that's who I sent the picture to him, say, hey, we're talking about you. So I did give him a fair warning, without mentioning his name. So if he's watching, he's like, that guy. Anyways, my point to you is that, at the end of the day, if you're a coach or a mentor or an advisor or a consultant, like Daniel said, a part of your responsibility that even if you don't know something, you need to be able to learn and keep ahead of who you're serving, because that's who you're serving. You have to keep on the up and up. You have to keep sharp. You have to keep, getting the newest and latest thing so that you can help serve your clients at a high level ongoing. And a lot of coaches don't do that. They're still coaching some of the same methods they came up with 20 years ago, or someone else came up with, which is even worse, 20 years ago. And then they wonder why they're not really attracting new clients or evolving their business. And if you're a manager, a leader, a coach, a mentor, an advisor, a consultant, you have to stay up on that game of providing not just new information, but new solutions to transformation. Zook, what do you say about that? What's your thoughts on what we're sharing here, about as far as taking responsibility?
Oh yeah, even in the situations where it's not your fault, it's still good to be, once again, open-minded about it and listen. Because even if, for example, if somebody else is saying you did something wrong, they can say 90% of something that, I don't know, you did wrong, but 10% of that could be something you did right. And maybe you can learn, I don't know, learn that little bit, and it can help you kind of move forward. And just as Daniel said, just apply it toward other aspects of your life and your business. And that's the way I would look at it. Like, will this actually benefit me by listening to this complaint in general?
Yeah, I think if somebody has a complaint that they're willing to share with you, that is always valid information. You even if it's something you don't want to hear, I would say especially if it's something you don't want to hear, that's the time it's most important in your life, because that person took that time to share something with you. They could have just ignored you and let it go, but they took time to tell you the issue that they had. That is a chance for you to grab a nugget and say, wow, this person, even though they don't like me, they still took time to tell me what the issue was so that I could deal with it.
Yeah. And I think that's what Zook was mentioning with his quote earlier in the show when he said, somebody says, good friends stab you in the front.
Oh yeah, Oscar Wilde.
Yeah. So, good, true friends tell you the truth because they care, right? Critics tell you their opinion because they don't care, right? And they don't know. And don't mix up the two, right? Those who want you to win will tell you the truth and still want you to win, right? And give you all the honesty they can. And that's what a coach should do too, right? So imagine not being told not being told the honest opinion of someone who has a perspective that's there to help you see the blind spots and strategically face all the challenges and overcome them and win at a big level. And they're not just being honest with you, right? Honest to the point of telling you what you may not want to hear, like Daniel just pointed out, right? You need to be told things you don't want to hear, things you disagree with. And in those moments, like you're saying, those are the things that you really need to grab hold of and say, hey, look, this might be something I definitely need to consider, especially if I'm going to the next level, right? And so I think you got to have respect between you and your coach. For those of you who are considering getting a coach, this is why you should, because you should be able to get someone who helps you actually see things in a way that actually sometimes might, rub you the wrong way, right? I think Zook said this coming on here. Is like, hey, Frank's straightforward, right? So, and mention that. So, I have to have someone straightforward, right? I got to have someone telling me straightforward where I lack and where I can do better. If not, then I'm not going to address those, right? I can do some self-coaching, but at the end of the day, I still need someone else to point out the blind spot, especially if I'm really, really adamant about going to the next level. And I know that you guys are, I am, and anyone watching, if you're ready to go to the next level, you got to put this in your circle. You got to put a person, if not people, in your circle that will shake you, not because they want to hurt you, but because they want to help you, right? What do you guys say about that? And we'll close out here in a minute.
Well, actually, this just popped into my head from earlier, friend, a conversation I was having with a friend earlier, um, about you kind of actually, it's based on what we're talking about, but not being able to own up for your faults or challenge yourself. But if my buddy was going 80 miles an hour toward a cliff and I was the only one with him, would I challenge him to look at it from a different perspective and say, "Hey, there's a cliff up ahead. You better turn." Or would I just let it happen? So sometimes we need to step out of our comfort zones, even when we are scared, because literally, like, there are just so many. I don't say lives, but just career choices, life choices that people are making that they're not owning up to. That they literally need like a mind shift and some insight on from a friend, from a family member, from anybody. And I don't know. That's something I think a lot of us take for granted. So your opinions and insight matter, but just be gentle, depending
Yeah.
on whatever it is you're covering.
I mean, yeah, definitely have finesse, but also have a relationship where that relationship provides permission, so to speak, to be able to be more stern when needed, right? So if an invitation is there to say, "Hey, I need you to knock at my door and make sure I'm up to go to the gym because that's what I'm paying you for," then I'm inviting that, right? And so the first time someone comes and knocks on my door, I can't be like calling the police and be like, "Hey, I don't know who this stranger is, but he's showing up my door." And then the person's going to be like, "Hey, well, you paid me $10,000 to do this." And I'm going to be like, "Dang, I just called the police and paid someone $10,000. That's dumb." So taking responsibility, but also not. I think what's important here, guys, is keeping yourself out of the blame game, right? If you find yourself slipping in the blame game, you're going to find yourself not avoiding growth. And that's the biggest thing here. The only way you're going to grow, even if you face something you didn't cause, you're going to only grow when you take responsibility for yourself. Like, and it doesn't necessarily mean like you caused the hurt, the pain, the misfortune, the failure. It just means that you need to realize what you could have done better to avoid it altogether, right? And that's what I was trying to say earlier. I hope no one gets offended by that scenario I brought up, but I really wanted people to understand that every situation there is something that we can do different, right? And it doesn't mean everything because we just don't know. Sometimes we don't know what we don't know, but now that we do know, now that we're faced with a future with that experience, are you going to take that experience and let it bleed over negatively where it possibly blinds you? Like this gentleman who says, "I'm not doing that anymore because I tried it and it didn't work." Well, did it not work because the niche that you picked, or did it not work because you weren't prepared? Right?
Yeah.
Maybe both. It might be both, but still, even if you decide to switch over, like I assume that this person's going to do, first think about trying to be too broad because I don't think that makes a lot of business sense. And two, even if you do niche down and take that advice, make sure you're better prepared for that new niche and stay on top of your game and keep learning and make sure you're out in front and giving them the new fresh solutions and tools. Right. So for those of you who are watching, who are coaches, mentors, consultants, whatever you do for business, and hopefully a lot of you guys are, these are tips to help people not only find solutions, right? Because you know what takes people to the next level, guys? You guys know this, but what takes people to the next level is when they become a better version of themselves. And you cannot grow unless you take responsibility. It's not a solution. I could tell Zook, I could tell Daniel, I could tell anyone, this is what you should do. I can give you information. But until that person actually applies that information and actually becomes the person that that information is suggesting they can be, they will never go to the next level. The next level looks like the mirror of the person you need to become. That's what the next level looks like. So, until you improve yourself, until you look at yourself, and even if you do need a coach to tell you what to do, that's fine, which is awesome and it's needed. You still have to become that person to the next level. And the only way you can do that is take responsibility. Stay out of the blame game. And if anything, You need to get into the overcomer's mentality. Y'all know what the overcomer's mentality is, right? We can talk about it. When you don't take responsibility, you are limiting the creator that created you to do what he's called you to do, which is create solutions, which is give people opportunity and help people. And you're not able to say to yourself, hey, I can overcome this because I have the ability to create, because God gave me those abilities, because he made me in his likeness and image. And so therefore, this situation that's keeping me stuck from growing is actually because I need to take responsibility, and I need to create a better solution and a better version of myself. So what do you guys got to say? And we'll close it out with y'all saying the last things.
Well, mine, there'll be a little bit of humor in it, but sometimes we need a good niche slap from time to time. Because I needed a few of those. Because seriously, Daniel, whenever we were chatting earlier, like it's crazy how many years like I spent.
I love that, man. That's a dang shirt, man. What are you talking
about?
Dude,
you're welcome. I just want to.
You need to be niche slapped.
But Daniel, like, I don't know. It's just crazy how much time I was wasted because literally I didn't have anybody to keep me on track. I mean, I had my friends, I had my family, but I didn't have anybody who specifically like that was what they truly enjoyed, which was helping and guiding others and at the end of the day, helping you become a form of a leader. And I think that's very needed, especially in today's culture. But that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say that, that's why this business that we're in is so important, because people need that accountability, that person that's going to, keep them on track, that's going to help them understand the things that they're not looking at. And, a lot of the things we've covered today, you could find that just by Googling. You could look this stuff up. The information is out there. We have all the information of the world available at our fingertips at all times, every day. But until you have somebody confront you and say it to your face and explain it like it is, and not be rude about it, but just tell you the truth and give you that perspective, you might be lost and distracted. But by listening to things from your coach and finding a coach that works with you and that you can trust to tell you those things, you are able to progress, like Frank likes to say, to the next level. And you cannot get there by just doing it on your own all the time. Sometimes you need to really have that person or that group of people that can help get you there.
Yes.
Today is the day of Zook coming up with shirt sayings, because something he said earlier is also a t-shirt waiting to happen.
What was the other one? We got to keep a file of this.
Even if you didn't do it, you got to get through it. That's like a motivational t-shirt right there. So
wait a minute. Hold on. We're not ending this show until I create a file real quick. I'm being serious. We got to make some shirts going on.
All right, let's start a Teespring, guys.
Yeah, why not? We might be able to.
Millionaires overnight. Look at us go.
Yeah,
but it's also going to help people.
Right.
Yeah. It's amazing the power of a t-shirt and what can come across, because I was debating where not to get something or get somebody's attention and ask me a question.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I got a story about a t-shirt that'll get your attention.
Ooh, where my niche is at.
Here we go.
When we had our the dinner before we got married with our family and friends, we went to what was the name of that restaurant? No, the hibachi place. Oh, we went to Kobe, the hibachi place, and there was this guy sitting at the table across the way, and he just had a QR code on the back of his shirt. Nothing else, just a QR code. And so, of course, that piques your interest. It doesn't tell you what it's about, what it's for. All you have to do is point your phone at it, right? And it'll give you the information. So, we point our phone at this guy's t-shirt, and it's a Rickroll. It was the link to the YouTube video for Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up. Just on a QR code on the back of this guy's t-shirt. It was hilarious. You know, you don't expect that, but he's like, yeah, I get more compliments when I wear this t-shirt because people just never expecting that. So, you know, it's amazing the power of a t-shirt can just, you know, something as simple as a blank QR code with no information is enough to get people, you know, laughing and having a good time. So
we got niche slapped, and then what was the you've been niche slapped, and what was the other t-shirt idea?
I put it in our group chat, but it says, even if you didn't do it, you got to get through it.
Even if you didn't do it, you got to get through it. You got to get through it. That's a song.
Never mind, let's keep going.
Would you said you put that in the group chat?
Yeah, on our WhatsApp group chat.
Oh, you did. Okay, cool. I see it now. All right, guys. Well, listen, I hope you guys that are watching this, or have watched this, or on the replay, let us know your feedback in the comments. We'll be on here again. This is kind of a random show today, but I appreciate Zook and Daniel jumping on here. By the way, guys, let's if you guys have time, we can do a Zoom after this so we can cover some things. Zook, I don't know if you have a moment or not, but if you do, we'll jump on and talk about some stuff. But guys, if you have anything else, we're good. I'm going to close it out for today. Thanks, guys, for being a part of the Frank Ammon Show. Until next time, we'll see you on the other side.
You've been listening to the Frank Ammon Show. Until next time, remember, Michael Jordan was the best player in the world, but didn't win a single championship until he got the right coach. Visit FrankAmmons.com and schedule a game-changing call with Frank himself and watch your business accelerate to the next level.